Hi there, this is your Coach Kat. Yesterday I posted a story about falling short of my steps, and someone wrote to me saying, "You shouldn't say falling short, you make it sound like you're failing." And this is such a common response that I get whenever I post something like that, so I want to take the time to unpack this with a fuller answer because this way of thinking is one of the most common mindset traps I see. When I say falling short, I don't mean failing as a person. I fell short of my step goal, not of my humanity. I can fall short of a goal and still be whole as a human. Do you see the difference? And that's a common issue I work on with clients because so many women conflate missing a target with being a failure. I've struggled with this too. If a woman identifies with perfectionism and she doesn't meet her commitment on something perfectly, the inner voice kicks in of, I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough, I can never get it right. And that spiral often leads to what? Quitting. Because not meeting the goal creates so much discomfort, they'd rather throw the goal out altogether. So they'll say things like, this isn't sustainable, this is too extreme, this just isn't for me, this doesn't fit my reality. And sometimes that's an accurate assessment. But most of the time, that's where the trap is. That is the all or nothing trap. That's what keeps women stuck in guilt, shame, and the perpetual cycle of having to start over and over. But here's the reframe. You can fall short today and still be on track. You can miss the mark and still be growing. You can do things imperfectly and still be showing up for yourself. Because what matters to reach your goal is what you do most of the time. That is what creates change. This isn't about labeling yourself as a failure, and it's definitely not about holding yourself to a standard of perfection and then scolding yourself when you fall short. It's about having clarity on the habits that support your goal, whether it's mental, emotional, physical health, or whatever goal you set for yourself, and choosing to commit to those habits most of the time. I was talking to another client recently and she said, I realized I like to bullshit myself. I don't want to see when I'm not holding my commitment to myself. So I don't log the bite or I forget to track a meal because I don't want to see that I went over my macros that day. That right there is a breakthrough. Owning up to that pattern, that's the beginning of real change. And here's what I want to add. If I had hidden behind the kind of statements we often use to make ourselves feel better, I'm just human, oh well, it happens, without calling it what it was. I fell short of the step goal and saying it with neutrality, not shame. And if I had bypassed reflecting on why that happened, I would have missed a very important lesson that my old pattern of squashing my emotions with busyness had flared up again. And that was so important for me to see that I still have work to do on that front. That moment wasn't a failure, it was feedback. And I could only receive that feedback because I was willing to look honestly at what happened instead of pretending it wasn't there. It's never a failure when you extract a lesson from it. To reach your goals doesn't require perfect action. It requires honest reflection and willingness to course correct with curiosity and compassion, not shame. I'll say it again. Perfection is not required. Awareness, accountability, and repetition over time is what creates results. But here's what happens. People use the language like, but I'm doing my best. I missed the thing, so I'm just going to give myself grace. I mean, I'm human. I can't always do things perfectly. Of course we are human, and there are very real times where we should absolutely give ourselves grace. And I sincerely believe that we want to do our best. But if we perpetually use that language for not doing what we need to be doing, and we do that most of the time, that's not actually giving ourselves grace. That's weaponizing this kind of language as a way to soothe the discomfort for not doing the thing. Now, you should absolutely give yourself grace when you're sick, when your kids are sick, when there's an emergency, when there's zero room for plan B, or when you actually do the thing most of the time and today you missed it. Is completely appropriate to give yourself grace. But if you're regularly using that kind of language to dodge your own commitment, that's not grace. That's avoidance dressed up as a way to soothe the discomfort you feel for not doing the thing. So here's the real question. Are you doing the thing most of the time? Or are you justifying not doing the thing most of the time? That's the mirror to look into. And this is why mindset is the real thing holding most women back. They're unaware of the invisible pulls keeping them stuck. And this is why you need a coach to gently hold up the mirror, to help you shift out of default mode, to help you take full ownership of your actions without shame, but with radical honesty. So if you're sick of being stuck, if you're sick of starting over, I hear you, because I was stuck for such a long time. And this is the work. Now, the good news is this doesn't take willpower, but it does take courage. And I believe every single one of us has the ability to access courage that lives inside of us, but you have to choose it. So the question becomes, will you choose courage or will you choose comfort? The choice is yours.